Testing, testing. Uh, I can't believe my sound was out. I don't know if any of you will see this. Oh, we've got somebody in the room. Hello, can you hear me now? Hi, everyone. Is the sound back? I can hear you. Oh, so devastated. I'm so sorry. Oh, now Gaia says, now please repeat what you were saying for the last 25 minutes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh. I'm so sorry. I feel so terrible right now. And I was so in it. I was so in the advice that I didn't scroll down because I'm looking at questions as I go down and I didn't see all of you telling me there was no sound. Guys, I'm so sorry. I want to keep going. Now that I have sound, I will make sure that sound like just it wasn't that long. It was just 5 minutes. Somebody said 25 minutes. My heart like nearly snapped in half. Okay, so we're back on. I know some of you had left some super chats for me. I'm so sorry. Um, Lisa Buckner, yeah, laughing my ass off. Well, at least you're a cool dude. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm pretty good at recovering. We're just gonna get back into it. Thank you all for coming back. Okay, so and thank you to my beautiful wife Brittany for catching that in the thread. Thank you, Brittany, for your. These are hers. We share these earbuds. So let's get back into this. Um, okay, I'm going back to comments now. Kathy Stephens, I just got your notification. I'm here now. We're doing take two. So let's do take two. All right, good. Winnie Jake. Hey, Winnie, how's it going? A guy I liked a guy I like asked me to be his girlfriend on our first date. I said yes, but overwhelmed with the pace. I told him we should take it slow the next day. His replies are slow, and I want the status, but in time. Winnie, so yeah, again, this is going to be your intuition that's just helping you out so much uh, right now in these moments. And this is a voice that we should always be listening to because we find that we're always redirected back to this voice in some form. So you're overwhelmed with the pace because that's insane. Like, right? Like, you don't know this guy yet, the first date. So there's a sense of desperation that you were feeling from him. And he just wanted to either lock you down because he's never had a girlfriend before. He's just not familiar with the pace in general of how things are supposed to go. And he's just kind of thinking about himself, like what his needs are. He needs the status. And although you would like the status, as you pointed out, at the same time, um, you want it in time and you want things to evolve naturally. So when you're so dead on with um, what your intuition is telling you, it's way too soon. Again, and this just goes back to what we were talking about earlier about natural beauty, right? Who had the long distance relationship and was told very, very early on that they didn't just want to be your natural beauty's boyfriend. They loved them, but they never met him face to face. So it's just like this space of, okay, what do we really have here? And what is the timing that needs to take place? Because it's going to be different with each guy that you meet. But clearly, like the first date, unless, the narcissists out there, the super charming ones, they usually try to, they work fast because the best you're going to see of them is in the beginning because their best asset, like I said, is their charm, right? Let me just scroll down and make sure that, can you all still hear me? I am so paranoid right now that you guys can't hear me. And can everyone hear me? Just let me know. and I'm just gonna check in a couple times because I don't want this to happen. Yes, Gina Marie, laugh out loud. Yes, thank you. Okay, good. um, oh my gosh. Okay, so yes, when he just yeah, use your best judgment. Um, I don't know how he responded to you when he said, "Oh, let's like pace this thing out." Maybe just ask him like, "Well, why do you want to be my boyfriend? Like, why do you think, why do you think that's a good idea?" And just see what he says. It's an honest question. What are your intentions with me? I think that's a question that we should be asking more potential suitors. What do you kind of see with me? What are your intentions with me? It's an open-ended question. It's just one of those great questions that you can kind of throw in there. First, second, third date, it doesn't matter. But what are your intentions here? What are you really looking for with me here? And then just shut your mouth, just close your mouth and just let them talk. And you're going to learn so much about them after a question like that, because open-ended questions, that's when you're going to learn the most about people that you're getting to know, that you're dating. So that's just a great one. What are your intentions with me? Okay. So let's see here. I just want to go through Lisa Buckner. Now answer my question, laugh out loud. Where is your question? It was probably in the other one. Oh, okay. I'm getting back on my feet here. Great to have you all back. Let's see here. Okay. Narissa Clark. Hey, Narissa. Help me, Ryan. I have a guy who's 33 that I've known for a while. It was a sex relationship that turned to a friendship, and now we're not speaking, but we have no problem with each other. What do I do? Okay, so that that was kind of a loaded statement, right? That last part. And now we're not speaking, but we have no problem with each other, aside from the fact that we're not speaking to each other, right? So I just want you to direct you to what you wrote there, because that statement is in conflict with itself, right, Narissa? So we really need to look at the parts of us. Okay, this is actually a really interesting time to mention this. You're going to have typically two forces at play. You're going to have ego, and I notice that I'm delayed, so I'm going to let that catch up. Is that just, let's see here. I'm going to keep my thread with you, Narissa. I'm just making sure. Okay, now it looks like the thread caught up. You have two competing forces. You have ego, and then you have intuition, right? The ego is the thing that, is the dreamer, that wants all of the things and isn't really looking at the data, right? Isn't looking at the realistic environment and the ecosystem to obtain those desires. It just wants what it wants, and it wants it now. Your intuition is the more logical, spiritual, feet on the ground force within you that is typically going to be at odds with ego. Okay. And that's kind of what's happening in your statement here, right? Now we're not speaking, and it's almost like your intuition is like writing on your behalf. Well, Narissa, now we're not speaking. And then the ego kind of jumped in here and was like, you know, but we have no problem with each other. Like everything's cool, right? And I'm kind of using you as an example. I'm not saying that this is like 100% like, oh, you're having an inner battle with yourself right now. I'm kind of using these statements as an example to illustrate a very important point, right? Um, we're not speaking. Well, why aren't you speaking? Um, there's no problem that you have with one another that you know of, but you're not speaking. And it's not that you're not speaking to him, he's not speaking to you. Um, so it was a sex relationship, it was hot and heavy, and then it got downgraded into a friendship, and now we're not speaking. So honestly, this is a pattern that you're typically going to see when a guy gets what he wants, he got the sex, and then he's gonna slowly start peeling off of you, right? Okay, sex is good. Well, we should just be friends, even though we had, physical contact with each other in a very, very passionate sort of way. Let's just be friends. Let's just do that. And then, and then you sign on to that because you're like, well, that's what he's asking for. What do I do? And you really have no other choice than to be like, well, okay. I'm not sure what that means or what that entails. But now the fact that you haven't heard from him, that's a very clear sign that uh, he didn't really want the friendship, because the friendship would have been consistent communication. I mean, I don't know, maybe something happened to him. There's always that possibility. But there was no problems other than you guys had sex. Now he's kicking down the status essentially. Um, and again, that's typically what that signifies, right? Not like, oh, I should have gotten to know you first before we had sex. Sometimes things are out of order for men and they come to that realization like, oh, I really like this girl. I just kind of went for the thing that I wanted first and now I want this. And then they feel like they screwed up. But I think with the fact that you haven't heard from him at all is like your biggest indicator that, and I'm just scrolling down here, we're still good with sound. Looks like, okay, no one said sound is out, so I'm going to take that as everything is good. So Narissa, you're welcome. She says, okay, thank you. Um, so great, guys. So again, we're going to be sprinkling in just a couple points about the Boyfriend Blueprint program. I see that a couple of you have questions about that, and we've got this rolling until this Friday night at midnight. That's when the doors are open until. Now, just so you understand, there are, again, we talk about different layers, different approaches, trying to meet all of you. And I have just notes that I came in with. I'm looking at the questions that you've asked over the last couple of days from my email correspondence, just mentioning things in my video this week. But I'm trying to meet everyone at different levels. Okay. So just so you understand the levels a little bit of what I'm trying to develop, and the level at which you would like to be met. When you come to my YouTube channel and you see my YouTube videos, aside from the lives, because these are much more intensive, we're getting into brass tacks, we're talking to people about things that they're currently experiencing. My videos, these are really like high level tips, right? I can only go for about 8 minutes. I've tried to do longer videos, but like 8 to 10 minutes, it's like the sweet spot. That seems to really work for us for these sort of, bullet point, digestible concepts for tactics, for mindset, and just the in and out sort of operation with a guy. Okay. So that's the YouTube video. That's, kind of, my free content essentially. So that's what you're getting there. The masterclass, I went deeper. And I wanted to make that free because I wanted people to understand and get a simulation of what it's like to work with me one on one, what it's like to work with me in a more sort of, kind of exclusive, intimate, private context. And I wanted to simulate some of the transformation, some of the like immediate shifts you can experience by going through some of the deeper work that you can do on yourself. And I know a lot of this work it can be foreign to a lot of you that haven't really done, email, done personal development work before. But the masterclass, you have me in basically a classroom environment with worksheets, and you're doing the work with me in the videos, and you're doing the work with me in the worksheets, and it's in depth, but it's the tip of the iceberg. And the blueprint, it's really the core of my teaching, and it's done in such a such a structured approach where there's repetition involved. I'm going to make sure that you're getting all of the concepts and that you're adopting them into your mindset and that they're actually coming out and being worked on in just a very practical sense for your life. So it's really that full evolution of all of the things that we're conveying. So that, you know, obviously takes a lot of time for you. It takes time for me because I want to see you through that process. So it's just a much more immersive environment for those of you who are just like, man, I just want to get this, I want to get this part of my life handled for good. I wanted to provide that option. And again, I realized like the first time I did the course, I didn't have that element. And a lot of people didn't get through the whole course, right? They sped through the sexy parts of the tactical stuff and they missed a lot. I said, no, 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 I need to be in this with you. So I just want to touch on that real quick about the different levels where I'm trying to meet people for those who, you know, are just kind of uh, didn't participate in the live where clearly my sound went out. Um, okay, Pineapple Queen. I feel like Pineapple Queen had left something earlier when things went bad. And again, I'm sorry if you had left a super chat. Thanks for hanging with me. Pineapple Queen, hi. I met a guy a few weeks ago, went on a few dates and have gotten closer. He says he has 1 foot in and 1 foot out. What does that mean? He also says he respects us and wants to know me more. Um, Talk about the wishy-washy, hot and cold guy right here. Oh, and then Abby is right below that. She had a super chat question. So thanks for coming back. Abby, I'll get to you right after Pineapple Queen. Okay. He has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's like, okay, that's honest, but that's a really rude way of putting it. Well, you know, I got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If I had heard that, I'd be really like kind of giving him, I wouldn't be able to hide my disdain for what just came out of his mouth. Or if I heard it from a woman who said, you know, Ryan, I'm kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like you're getting this live feedback, but it's kind of like the way it's coming across is like, well, you know, not that you want it like dollied up, you know, like all, you know, painted up nicely, but it's like, no, no, no. Then he says he respects, I don't know what, when you say us, he respects us and wants to know me more. Um, you've gone on a few dates. So you're kind of like building an investment with this guy in terms of your time, right? You're going on more and more dates with this guy. And he I don't know if he's told you this more than once, but he's like, it's almost like you're some sort of circus performer. And it's like each date he's asking you to like one up your performance from the previous date. And it's like, you know what? You're not really hitting the mark. I'm kind of like here with you. Like that's just really shitty. Who wants that? So, you know, not that he's going to be like, oh, he's going to get everything about you in the first 3 dates, but that's not the feedback that you want to get. But at the same time, I guess it is feedback. So it's good to have feedback. It just, I don't know. Just the presentation of it is something that I would just be like, dude, like, really? Like, I got dressed up. We're going on this date, and you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So, um, I when you say what does he mean, I can't really. I don't know what he mean. What he's saying is, I don't know. It's like this weird test. Like I said, you're some circus animal. You have to perform for him. You have to entertain him, and that's just not. That's a next, in my opinion. Just that it's just not some. Yeah, but I respect you, and you want to know me more. That's that wishy washy. You're not really doing it for me, but I respect you and want to get to know you more because hopefully you'll do better than what my initial impression is of you. So no, 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 no. That's an easy next. Again, ladies, that wishy-washy hot coldness is going to be something that y- you'll know it when you spot it. Like you've been with my channel for a while. I highlight so many of these examples, and if it just is like, oh, you just got the like friction inside you. Again, that friction typically is coming from that ego of, he's so hot, I want this guy. He's got the life, he's got the he's got his stuff together, on the surface side, and then you get your intuition. It's like, next, next, and you just, subconsciously kind of like looking at your intuition, like you keep saying next. I know you have high standards, but let's give this guy a chance. It's like, so you kind of go with your ego and some of those things. So anyway, Pineapple Queen, I hope that was helpful. That's a next. Few dates. I don't think he's hitting your mark, let alone you having to hit his mark. I understand he's going to have standards, but is this guy really doing it for you? I don't think so after just a weird comment like that. So Abby, my super chat question: how to work through the guilt of unintentionally hurting my date? He brought it up to me and we calmly worked it out. He said not to get in my head, but I'm gutted and very sad. So let's just see. Okay, let me see here. I'm just checking to make sure the sound's still on. Now I'm just conscious of that. So where did you go here? Oh, did I? Sorry, I just lost the question because I scrolled down. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, she's down there. Okay. Almost there, almost there, almost there. Hang with me. Okay, there we go. I just want to make sure I had your question in front of me. And there's so many wonderful comments coming in. Thank you guys for everyone for chiming in. I just want to make sure I got back. Okay. So how to work through the guilt of unintentionally hurting my date. I'm not sure how you hurt them, but he brought it up to you and you worked it out calmly. He said not to get in your head, but I'm gutted and very sad. So I'm not sure how you unintentionally hurt him. If it's something that, and this is going to be hard, right? Because this is a place where you need to audit yourself to say, okay, would you need to kind of put it on yourself and put yourself in the situation? Would I have been hurt by my words? Is the guy just being too sensitive about something that I said? Or, and this is just one option that I want you to be aware of in this situation, is men who are narcissists or the controlling types, they throw out this thing to kind of throw you back on your heels and throw you off a bit. And they do this to try to control you. And they say, you hurt me. So what they do by saying that is they put you at an immediate deficit where now you have to work to get their affection back. So I'm not saying that that's happening here. I'm just saying that's a possibility of what could happen when a guy says that they hurt you. Now, it sounds like he brought it up to you, you worked it out calmly, but I'm wondering what was going on through your head, Abby, when you were working through this. In your heart and in your gut, were you intuitively thinking that this is something that you needed to apologize for? Was this something that you said you clearly feel gutted and very sad about it, right? Um, is this something that you feel gutted and very sad about because of his reaction? Or it's because you've taken that moment to fully evaluate and audit how you'd normally speak to someone, and that was just like out of the norm for you, right? That is something that Abby just doesn't do. And he was able to eloquently communicate to you his position on why it was hurtful, or so I just want to make sure it's not just because he was hurt that you're gutted, because we really need to pull those emotions apart. Are you pulling from his energy, or is this exclusively your energy that independently feels bad about what you did over here with him? So that's one question I would pose to you. And I would say if you feel guilty about it, he's basically saying don't feel guilty about it and don't be in your head about it. So um, but if I mean, people say things that they don't mean sometimes, and it sounds like you apologize for it and you calmly worked it out. And when I hear worked it out, it means that there was a resolution. So hopefully you were able to, just fully get to that place of resolution in your mind and take his acceptance of that apology, and you can move on. But if it's anything outside, like what we just discussed, of I didn't really feel like I needed to apologize for that, or you're being a little sensitive, there's definitely no reason to feel guilty about any of that, right? So hopefully that's helpful, Abby, and thank you for coming back. And I'm just going to I'm just gonna scan, just because if anybody is back. Okay, let's move on here. Let's see. I've got RP. Love those initials. RP says, I lost the love of my life 2 years ago. He was my first and only love. I'm starting to dream again and becoming whole again. What do you think? What do you think? How long should widows wait before dating again? Wow, RP, this is a really good question. And I feel that, again, your intuition is, ooh, it's, you know, your intuition is going to be your best ally. And I would say that what is happening intrinsically and intuitively for you, you're going through a grieving process. No matter what stage you are at in this process, you're guided. You have that internal compass to get you through all of the grieving stages. And then coming out the other end, there are going to be signals to you that, it's time for RP to dream again. And it sounds like you're there, right? It sounds like I'm starting to dream again and become whole again. And that is a really, really positive set of signs that you're getting. And no one, including me, can tell you how to go through that process and how to come out of it, right? This is, this is something that's very internal. I would say, just communities that have widows that have lost a loved one, to really rein in that sense of wholeness back into yourself, finding those communities to really tap into, and ask folks who maybe are a little bit further along the spectrum. Maybe they've learned more tools, or they've learned self-love again, or there's just things that maybe you haven't experienced yet since the tragedy, where you can tap in and say, okay, I'm not there yet, but I know other people, and you can relate with other people that have gotten there, and it's possible for yourself. I think that's that tether that's just going to pull you closer to getting to that state of fully being able to step into that dream and that wholeness again, to the point where, you know, um, putting yourself out there, creating an online dating profile for yourself doesn't seem, it just doesn't seem crazy. It doesn't seem like the time is wrong to do something like that. So just, you know, just really give yourself grace. I mean, 2 years is not a long period of time. And, I would just say that as long as you and your intuition are like rock solid buds, and your intuition, you're giving them space, your intuition space and grace just to really come out and live fully again. Maybe there was a diminishment there. They're trying to, you know, really spark that wholeness within you again. And if you can just be patient and just allow that to happen, allow that healing process to happen, I don't think there will be any question how bright that dream can get and how bright that wholeness can get when you do that. Okay. So RP, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for being here. And good luck. Good luck. Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna keep rolling. We've got some more time here. Okay, Grace Rose, my best friend's boyfriend's best friend. Okay, told me he's interested in me. I've been protecting myself so long, I don't know how to open myself up to him. I finally let myself admit that I like him. Okay, so this is good. You've you've got over a big hurdle here, Grace, Grace Rose, and you finally admitted to yourself that you like him. Now it's the next stage, and it's evaluating. You know, is this going to be a good fit for me in the context of your relationship with your best friends, your best friend, their boyfriend, and how that all works in the mix. I don't know how much you two are hanging out with one another. I'm not sure about any of that, but if it kind of goes back to the whole dating coworkers and dating flatmates or roommates, right? That's how we say it in the US here, flatmates and other places. It might be a little too close to home. Okay. If you see these people all the time, it makes sense for your intuition and yourself to team up on a logical sense and say, hey, um, what happens if this doesn't work out, or he doesn't reciprocate the feelings that I have, right? What's the plan? What are we going to do here? So I would just say that, you know, if it's too close to home, it might not be worth it because there are going to be other guys that you're interested in. But if it's not going to be like messy, if it's like, you guys don't really see much of each other, if it's not too intertwined, every social circle, every friendship circle is different. Especially right now with the pandemic, not everyone's hanging out all the time, but you will. We're not always going to be like this, right? So these are things you got to think about. Is what if this thing goes really, really well? How is this going to play into? How could this have any impact on other people's relationships? You just want to be mindful of these things as a mature, you know, human being, and just realizing that in the context of other relationships around you, what's obviously what's going to make sense for you, but am I going to cause any problems with any of these people by me pursuing something like this? So, um, and he said that he's interested in you, and that's great. But once you kind of feel things out, if you guys go on dates and things are like, oh, this isn't really what I thought it would be. This is kind of what I'm talking about. You both acknowledged that you're interested. So you've protected yourself. You're letting your walls down. I think it's great. I think just mentally getting yourself in the game of understanding what the outcomes could be. He's interested in you. You being able to say that you're interested in him, how that's going to feel, right? And where do you guys go from there? I think it'd be really smart if you two actually, once you do say that you're interested and have that moment with him, if you decide to do that, that you both have a conversation about, well, what is this going to look like? Is this going to be weird? It's just worth talking about. I'm not saying don't do it because of that, but because you got to honor yourself. You guys both have to honor how you feel about things. So just just make sure that you're communicative right from the start, and you're going to find that that communication is going to reassure yourself that it was okay to let your guard down, right? Because you've been protecting yourself. Your instant communication, getting things started off on that foot, is going to be that reassurance that you need to really connect with him and be able to have that conversation. And it's, there's no rules for how that conversation goes. Just talk about it. Give it a beat, and let things kind of come out and see how things go with that. So yeah, Grace Rose, and I'd say go for it if it makes sense to both of you, but definitely talk about it with one another, and just let him know you feel great about him too. It's gonna feel like a great release. It's gonna feel really good to just honor yourself that way. Okay, so let me see here. Let's find another question. Okay, Lisa Buckner. I know, Lisa, thank you for being patient. You said, my question I asked a long time ago has a heart on it. Um, I do not want a 50-50 relationship. I want to be married, housewife, not date forever. And so I caught part of that, Lisa. And I there wasn't any other part. So Lisa, if you could chime in real quick, just want to see if I can give you a beat here. If you can fully flesh out that statement, I don't want a 50-50 relationship. If you're still on with us, I want to be married, I want to be the housewife, and I want all of this stuff. These other items, let's see here. Give Lisa a moment to chime in because I just want the full context, Lisa, so I can help you because I know you've been patient. Yo, Lisa says, yo. Okay, so she's with us. That's good. I'm gonna give Lisa a beat. And while I give her a second to do that, I'll just throw out another frequently asked question. We're getting about the boyfriend blueprint. I'll make this fast. Who is this program for? This will be real quick. So let's see, Lisa, we're still waiting. Lisa, if you can fully type out your question, I'll get to it and I'll look for it. Okay. So, who is the Boyfriend Blueprint program for? This is going to be for first time daters. This is going to be for anybody who's been out of the game for a while. This is going to be for any of you that are recently divorced, widows as well, because again, we're really coming at the full ecosystem of your dating career and your dating experiences. It's a full frontal assault. We're coming at this from every angle, and that's why it's so intensive. It's 8 weeks, and it's set to go at your own pace. But you're going to have these coaching calls with me twice a week, every Wednesday and Saturday, just like this, right? And it will be a more intimate Zoom type call where people will raise their hands, ask questions. You'll be like on camera with me. It'll be super fun. So, you know, we're going to have that intensive type of experience, but I just want to let you know who it's for. And I also want to let you know that it's designed, even though it says an 8-week program, you're going to have access to the materials for like a year, way longer than you're going to need. But you have the opportunity to drop into these coaching calls, speak with me one on one, and you just kind of go at your own pace. But I wanted to set that structure for you. So great. Okay, Lisa got back. Okay, so Lisa says, and I love all the hearts. Thank you, Lisa. That's great. I just want marriage, not dating forever, and be a housewife, no 50-50 money situation, housewife. Okay, so I didn't really see, I'm not seeing the question there. I guess you're asking, how do I get marriage? Because there isn't really a question attached to that, Lisa. So I just want marriage, not dating forever. The thing is, in order to get to marriage, right, you're going to have to go through a bit of a process, and it will require dating a little bit, but you can be the person that dates a lot and does the volume play, or we can kind of short circuit the process and just really get the tools and everything that you need to to really cut that process in half or less. But it's going to require some work. Like let's be honest. We're going to have to do the work to get these dates set up. Where are we going to meet them? How are we going to meet them? What's the plan post pandemic? Um, you know, marriage is a great thing to want, but dating forever just implies that you've had the same experience over and over with the wrong guys. And there's something flawed with the process right now. And, again, we touched on that in the confidence masterclass. There are ways to have people coming to you and attracting people and putting yourselves in situations and environments that are naturally going to screen out a lot of the noise and the riffraff and the volume of what these dating apps are doing to a lot of you right now, which is like, give them more people, give Lisa more, give her this guy and that guy. And even though they don't match any of your criteria and they have no way of you determining what your criteria is, that's why I like kind of want to. I've been thinking about devising my own dating app because I would be asking way different questions than what some of these dating apps ask. That's kind of what you're dealing with right now. So you need to be able to pull some tools from, some different areas to really streamline your process. And again, have that dating plan. Let's see. So Lisa, I hope that was helpful. Oh, okay. Lisa added, I feel like guys want career woman and I'm 42, I look young. And yeah, some do, some don't, um, again, it's really just being able to sit down with yourself and go through some exercises and write out exactly what's deep, deep, deep down in Lisa of what she's looking for. And once you do that deep work, of course, we're going to do that in the program over the course of time, but really getting to the heart of getting past the riffraff. That's just the way it's going to work, Lisa. I really don't know how any other way to say it. Then you're going to have to do some work, but it'll be well worth it if you can streamline the process and just be diligent and smart with it. Let's see here. Who we got? Let's keep going, guys. We'll keep going a little bit longer. Still looks like the sound is still good. No one's saying hey. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so Megan Brianna, what to do when you have been talking with a guy and he leaves you on red, like text message? Have I been ghosted, or should I text him and see how he's doing? It's been 2 days since it happened. So, I mean, he could be busy, Megan. Again, I'm really a big, big proponent of you in the beginning with the guy. The guy's got to work in the beginning. He's the best you're gonna get. The best you're gonna get from guys is in the very beginning. The strongest footing a guy is gonna have. He knows he has to come out of the gate strong, especially if he's interested in you. So if it's this wishy-washy, I'm gonna text you sometimes, and then you're just not gonna hear from me for 2 days. And I know it's annoying as hell. You just need to say next to these people. And Megan, when you when you get that guy that's consistently talking to you, right, and he's consistently reaching out, I'm not talking about good morning and nothing happens the whole day, and then you get good night, and then maybe adds a cute little name in there, and then you get the next thing. I'm talking about people that are just asking you questions. You want to get that person on a date. You can just say, "Hey, it's great to hear from you, but I just really, I'd love to do this face to face. I'll mask up. We can do social distance, but let's go out. Let's go for a walk in the park. Grab a cup of coffee. Um, let's go do that." And it's obviously going to get a lot easier leading into the spring and summer as things really start opening up. It's coming, guys. It's coming. I promise. So We just need to be ready for it, right? We want to be so ready for this when this dating renaissance comes. So, you want to push for that date, Megan. When you find the guy, this isn't the guy. If he's disappearing for 2 days, maybe he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, maybe he has some excuse." But a guy who's consistent. Hey, what do he's asking you questions about yourself. You want to answer those questions. You don't want to have this conversation over text and have a 2-month texting relationship. You want to get in front of him in person, and you want to do that within 2 weeks, no more of going back and forth with a guy. Okay, it's my 2-week rule. This I talk about this in my dating confidence masterclass for those of you that have been through it. I talk about that in video number 1. This gives no room for long distance relationships to ever form, because it's impossible for a guy in a foreign country to come see you within that 2-week period where you're basically cutting off communication after 2 weeks if the guy hasn't made an attempt to at least see you face to face, because that's how you progress to the next step, and you start having dates. And he's reaching out, he's saying, he giving you the what and the where of the date. You're confirming it, you're showing up on those dates, and after a handful of dates, you're going to chip in with the text initiation and also giving ideas for little dates that you guys can have together. So what do you do when you've been talking to a guy and he leaves you on red and you've been essentially ghosted? Next. Okay. And Erica, ooh, I'm gonna screw up Erica's last name. Erica Casdale. Oh, there's a lot of accent marks, I know I would butcher that. So Casdale is the first part of the name. I just want to know if there's other Ericas on here. Erica Casdale, and then the last part of your name. I was dating a guy for a couple of months, and I honestly thought that he is gonna ask me to get official soon. Everything was great. Suddenly he disappeared for a few weeks. Why do guys do stuff like that? And you just got the mind blown emoji. Um, Again, this just goes back to what I was talking to Megan about just now, about how guys, you know, in the beginning, they want to keep their options open. And honestly, you should be doing the same. I'm a proponent of you dating multiple guys until, at minimum, you get to have an exclusivity conversation where a guy wants you to be his girlfriend and you be his boyfriend. And there are some issues there. I'm not saying go have sex with a bunch of guys that you're dating, because that could cause issues. But you don't owe anybody really much of anything in the beginning. And there's just this, trial and error dating, one guy at a time. And that's one way to get there. And for a lot of you, it's a very drawn out and seemingly arduous process. So, you know, things could have been going great with this guy, but he might have been dating other women. And I don't know if you ever asked him if he was doing that, but I just feel that you, you can't ever really know when a guy is just going to drop you on your head like that, unfortunately. It's just a sign of immaturity. It's just a sign of, especially if you guys have gone, you say a couple months, like there's an investment there. There's an investment for both of you. And he was just kind of going like, okay, I've got these 3 girls. I've been dating for a couple months. And he might have gone with another girl, but just didn't have the class and didn't, didn't have a dignant moment with you to just say, I'm going with this other girl, and give you any sort of heads up. It's just like some guys just end it, right? And you have no closure, you have none of that. And just it's a sign of immaturity. It's a sign of a guy who just doesn't want to communicate or doesn't have the capacity to properly communicate with you. And in the end, these guys do you a favor because if they had chosen you and not the other girl, for instance, if that was the most likely scenario, you would have had problems in the committed, exclusive boyfriend girlfriend relationship with communication. With a guy like this, there's going to be things that he wouldn't tell you, even though you're completely forthright and on the table with him about things that are going on for you and what you're feeling. So, long story short, Erica, he did you a favor, and it's just crummy. You just feel like you lost a couple months there. So, and sorry I couldn't pronounce your last name. I would take. I would just screw it up. So, hopefully, Erica Cosdale Evicuishi. I know I screwed that up, but I guess I tried. So let's take two more, and I'm going to go through here, and then we'll kind of wrap up. But again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for telling me the sound was off. It looks like we're still good with sound, so that's good. And let's see here. Let's find. Okay, so Devi Dalwadi, who has a number 9 in front of her name. There's a guy who confessed recently, but he is still talking about her ex. He is still in love. He is still in love with her ex. He's still in love with his ex. It's been 4 days. He is not in contact with me. What should I do? Can you please help? They're talking about their ex. That should be a huge red flag. I don't have a lot of videos about exes because I don't, think much about them because they represent your past, and your life is not about your past. It's about moving forward. If a guy is interested in, confessed that he's still talking to the ex, well, this thing isn't, he's not done with her, right? He still has feelings for her. If he was done with her, he just wouldn't have confessed that he's still talking. Like, maybe he wanted to be honest with you about it. Yeah, and he said he's still in love with his ex. So it's been 4 days, no contact with me. What should you do? Take him at his word. He's still in love with his ex. He has no emotional availability for anything else. There's actually no gray area wishy-washiness. He told you, like, I'm in love with my ex. So he's not gonna be texting you for the last 4 days and be in no contact with you because he's with her, and that's just what's happening there. So sorry about that, but I'm glad he told you that he was still into your ex. So let's see here. Let's see. Okay, Emma Cruz, CROUS, Emma Cruz. Let's do this one. This guy and I both like each other, but he almost never talks to me and uses excuses that he's busy because of his work. I don't know if I should believe it or not. Should I move on? And yeah. What are you gonna do here? You both like each other. Did he tell you that he likes you? I'm just wondering where you got that, because he didn't say that in the statement. But he almost never talks to me, and he uses excuses that he's always busy to talk to me. Guys who like you will make excuses to talk to you, not to not talk to you and be talking about work. So if he's trying to confuse you by saying that he likes you, then you need to look at his actions versus his words. His actions are he never talks to me. His actions are he's too busy because of work. His words are, oh, you like me? I like you too. Maybe because it was comfortable for him. If you had told him that you liked him, right? It was easier and less awkward for him to say that he liked you too, as opposed to, oh, well, I don't really feel that way about you, because now that's confrontational, right? So, you know, you got to go with the action over the words every time. And you're just getting the hand to the face right now from this guy. And 100% you should move on. And you should take his words at face. You should take his actions at face value, not his words. Take his actions at face value and believe those actions, because that's all you ever have to go on is a person's actions in the moment. And that will, you asking that question, that's your intuition, that's your gut telling you, I think I should probably move on. So Emma, definitely time to move on. Um, Again, ladies, I'm really appreciative that you all were here and you came back on after the audio difficulties. Again, I wanted to just go for basically another hour to just really pack in as much value, answer your questions, talk about some of these frequently asked questions about the course. I know it's a big commitment, right? I know on a lot of different levels, it's a big commitment, and it's, you know, you haven't seen this level of an offering from me before. But again, when I was talking about the different levels of where I want to meet people, you know, YouTube high level, the master class, which is also free, we're getting more deeper, right? We're giving you worksheets, we're giving you a taste of a change, a transformation, something that's long lasting. And now this course is the final component of where the full transformation, right? The caterpillar into the butterfly scenario is what can happen for you. And now that I've become so hands on with the program, and I really can be that level of accountability for you to see you through the full process, get you through the whole program. We have 3 assessments to make sure that you're on track and that you're staying on track, and that you come out the other end with just this brand new sense of dynamic confidence on multiple layers: your surface and your core confidence, dealing with your tactical approach to dating, and then your psychological approach to dating, and just just your internal feelings about yourself, right? How to become an expert sourcer of finding high quality men that are right for you, and also just being intuitively relationship ready. Okay, those are the things that you're going to come out the other end with. Having a post pandemic game plan, ladies. This pandemic is, we're you know, this vaccine is circulating. There are multiple companies that are circulating this thing. It's a little bit slower than people were hoping for, but this dating renaissance is coming, and it's coming, in my opinion, this year, and not at the tail end of this year. I think it's going to be like summertime. I want you all to be ready for it. So I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't checked out this week's video about the magical ways to make them fall in love, we talk about some very, very practical things. In my previous live, before the sound got screwed up, we talk about how to become a friend with the guy and being a genuine connector with him and not trying to game the relationship. So you can check out this video this week. Got a great one coming out for you next week. So again, love to you all, and I will see you starting next Monday. For those of you who joined the Boyfriend Blueprint, we are ready to go next week. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.